In December 2017, 2 workshops were held to trial model processes aimed at improving information flow for private sector advisors. The workshops were part of the Knowledge Trial, one of 4 trials being undertaken as part of the Stimulating Private Sector Extension project. The Knowledge Trial comes under the industry lead of the Victorian Government Department of Economic Development, Jobs, Transport and Resources, and is a collaboration with Sugar Research Australia, Meat and Livestock Australia, the New South Wales Department of Primary Industries and Horticultural Innovation Australia. Trial partners in the private advisory sector, as well as primary producers, were approached in 2 case study locations via the Best Wool, Best Lamb Coordinators Network in Victoria and via Project Catalyst in the sugar cane growing region of Mackay, Queensland. The workshops particularly focused on issues around private sector advisors' access to current research and development, advisors' involvement in the formulation of research priorities, and the translation of R&D information into on-farm knowledge and adoption. Following the workshops, the trial team and trial partners in both case study areas developed model processes to enhance the flow of information and the collaboration of diverse types of knowledge, with the aim of strengthening the agricultural knowledge and innovation system relating to red meat, wool and sugar industries. Key points noted by participants at the Atwood workshop included the importance of early advisor involvement in ground truthing the premises and structure of research proposal, as well as during the research for early identification of opportunities and issues. Also, they identified that where possible, the importance of ensuring good alignment of research with practical outcomes and of interactive knowledge co-development to capture knowledge from all sectors, as well as informing all sectors and avoiding top-down information delivery. Workshop participants in Mackay additionally noted the need to review current funding structures and attendant pressures, as well as better alignment of project timelines with sugarcane growth cycles. They provided feedback on the prototype of a collaborative knowledge model presented by the trial team and co-developed an enhanced, more nuanced model of actors and interactions for improved knowledge flow in the sugar sector. This model may be tested further as part of the new sugar industry adoption strategy, which will launch in 2018.
I'm Jenny O'Sullivan. I'm a farmer in South Gippsland, beef and sheep farmer. I'm also an agricultural consultant and involved with SAMRAC, which is the Southern Australian Meat Research Council. I couldn't make it to the meeting you had in Gippsland, but I've been aware of the project, talking with Ruth Nettle, and I'm coming today with my SAMRAC hat on because of our involvement with looking at identifying research needs and communicating across the sector.
What have been some of your observations of the day so far?
Today is really testing a process about how we can get better communication and flow of information, particularly with the private sector consultants. So it's been a really interesting day, looking at where the gaps in knowledge are. We've chosen animal nutrition as a subject area we're going to look at. And the thing that's really come up is there's lots of opportunities to get information presented to you, but the opportunities for true interaction and discussion are often limited in finding the right processes to do that.
Given that, what do you hope one of the legacies of the project might be?
Well, I think if we can identify perhaps some of the gaps and some of the some opportunities, and then create better processes that are really meaningful to provide access to information, but also have the extension sector, because these private consultants and extension is such an important aspect of facilitating change, and I think it often is forgotten or omitted or not done properly. And we really need that knowledge and involved very much in all stages of planning good research, but also getting it out for adoption for farmers.
So Jim, tell me about your involvement in the project.
I've been involved in the project since the beginning as an external consultant to, I guess, help frame the questions and help frame the process.
And today you're involved in facilitating a workshop. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, the workshop was part of Trial 4, which was how do we enhance, I guess, the private sector? How do we enhance and improve the flow of information around all the components of the knowledge system? So, how do we get better interaction between research and providers? How do we get better interaction between, I guess, the providers of information and the various sources of information out there? Where does that get access? How do people get access to it? So it's really trying to create a better connectivity so that it results in capacity building across the network, across the whole knowledge network. So we see that as, I guess we addressed it initially in terms of looking at what the needs were from the advisor's perspective, and in dealing with that we had both people that were private consultants and people who were working for commercial companies, retail companies. So we got a range of different perspectives. And so what we were looking at is, how do those people get information? How do they get credible sources of information? What structures would they like to see in place that would assist them in developing their capacity to better provide advice, initially in the first stage, I guess, to farmers. And then the second component we looked at was to look at how research interacted with the various components of the knowledge system. So what benefit or what capacity there was for the research people undertaking research or directing research to capture the experience that people had in the field, in terms of firstly setting research priorities, but then also in terms of being able to take the research and put it into sort of the development phase, understand how it was going to fit into the farming practices, and to do that by interrogating the information, understanding how it was developed, understanding what the conclusions were, and then looking at what the implications of that were on farm. So we were looking at a whole lot of processes and structures that would facilitate improvement across those areas that I've talked about.
So for you, Jim, what were some of the major findings that you thought today, or the major observations people made?
I guess the first thing was that everybody came there with a need to, get better connectivity in the whole system. I guess a feeling of isolation to various degrees in terms of what information was there, how they could access information, and how they could positively contribute to the development of a better pasture system. So that to me was really encouraging. And the other thing I thought was that there was a number of very, very good suggestions that came out of it, particularly in relation to what are the sort of structures that people would see were real value. I thought it was a very positive and very encouraging process with a lot of buy-in from the people that were there.